Hey guys, thank you for joining me. I'm a little bit closer up than usual, which I do when I'm doing videos talking about foundations, just so that you can get a bit of a clearer idea of what the foundation looks like. This is a first impressions review because I have only worn this twice, yesterday and today. This is the No7 Stay Perfect Super Light Foundation. The idea of this one, I think, is like the, is it L'Oreal L'Eau de Tint, something like that, in that it's supposed to be a foundation that is lightweight and you feel like you're not wearing foundation, but it gives a flawless airbrushed kind of look. It appealed to me because it was liquid and it's in a little plastic bottle, because I like the idea of, no, not because I like the idea of, because I'm looking for a foundation that is a great foundation that I can travel with. And I don't ever know why, because it's not like I'm traveling all the time, but when I am traveling, I like to take something that is not a glass bottle, that is a really nice foundation, and have kind of choices. And I like the idea of it. So the other reason that I was attracted to it is because it is a beautiful colour. The colour I have chosen is Calico, and I think I have had, in fact I know I've had a foundation from No7 before, which was a beautifully matte foundation, which I did like, but it was a little bit too matte for me. But this is the colour Calico. So I think you can probably see why I love it so much, because it's such a great match for my skin, and I just think it's such a beautiful colour in that it's not got any pink in it at all, and it hasn't got too much yellow in it. So it is just the perfect, lovely neutral beige colour without being too white, without being too stark, and not going to make me look ghostly, and also without being too yellow or too pink. So I loved the look of the colour. I loved the fact that it was a really light fluid. I tried some on my hand and it looked like it was really good coverage, so that attracted me to it, and like I said, the packaging. So I used it yesterday. It goes on lovely, it feels lovely on the skin. I would agree with the claim that it is a very lightweight foundation, that you don't really feel like you're wearing foundation. I really do like the look of it. It is a flawless look. My only problem with it is that it's not full coverage enough. It looked like it was going to be full coverage on my hand, and it says that it is light to medium. So I thought that I would be able to get a medium coverage or a medium to full by building it up. The trouble is it doesn't build up very well. So you put your first layer on, and then if I put more on it, it seemed to be going a little bit kind of streaky. I haven't tried it with my beauty blender, so I do need to use it with my beauty blender and see if that helps, because I was just using it with a brush, and then this morning I kind of tried it with fingers and then sort of blended it in a little bit with my brush. But like I said, I think if you put more on top of it, it just seemed to kind of make it look a little bit streaky, and it wasn't very buildable. Now again, it may be more buildable if you put on one layer and let that dry and then put on another layer, or put on more in the areas that you want to build up. So for me it would be kind of this middle area. The funny thing is, looking in this camera here, mirror that I've got in front of me, it looks a lot more fuller coverage. I'm not sure if that's coming off in the camera. I'm not really one that wants a natural looking skin. I know a lot of people want their skin to shine through. That's not what I'm looking for in a foundation. I want it to give me that real flawless look. And my skin isn't flawless. It is freckly with red patches and acne scars, and you know, so I want that covered up with a foundation so that I've got a kind of blank canvas, especially kind of on my cheeks, because I want to be able to put blusher on and then not to blend in with my freckles, which is kind of difficult if I don't get that blank canvas. Anyway, like I said, at the moment I'm enjoying it. It's a lovely feeling foundation. It feels great on my skin. It hasn't broken me out. I think this is a good one if, like me, you've got oily to combination skin, but I also think it might be okay for dry skin, because it does feel quite moisturizing. It's not a dry feeling foundation. It does feel like air on your skin. This to me is the liquid version of the Christian Dior Air Flash, but with a little bit less coverage, because the Air Flash I love, and it is a very, very light coverage of foundation, but it's very medium to full coverage you can get from it. This one I would say is definitely light to medium coverage, but it is like the liquid version of that. So let me just give you some more details about it. It's £14.50 for this, but if like me you have been building up the Boots vouchers, then you'll get £3 off it at the moment, because they're doing £3 off their makeup and £5 off their skincare. So that's bringing it down to £11.50. So that's what I paid for it. I think it's a bit expensive for what it is, I have to say. You get 30 ml in this, so which is 1 fluid ounce. And that's not a lot for £14.50 because I don't believe No7 to be high end. They are drugstore, and I don't think, you know, I think they're as kind of equal to Maybelline, Bourjois, L'Oreal, and I don't think that £14.50 is the right price for this. I think if it was £11.50 or £11.99 or £10.99 and then they had the £3 voucher, I would be happier with this. I'm not sure I'd be happy to pay £15 for this, to be honest. But like I said, there's that voucher there if you want to go for it, and that's up to yourself. The colour range is amazing. There's 14 colours in it. And funny enough, No7 is somewhere where I've struggled with colours before. I have bought one in the past, like I said, in the same colour, which is Calico. And Calico is the lightest colour you can get if you're looking at the colours in a row. But there were other colours that looked to be a little bit more pinky and lighter to me. So, you know, don't maybe go on the website. I think this is one that you need to swatch the colours and see what is your correct colour. But 14 is a great amount of colours to choose from. And the other thing to tell you about it is it's got an SPF 15 in it, which is pretty good. So I think that's everything to tell you at the moment with this being a first impressions review. You can see it on my face just now. Like I said, it is a pretty flawless cover, but it's still, definitely my skin is shining through. You can still kind of see my freckles through my skin. So at the moment I've had this on for about 3 hours, so not very long. Yesterday I wore it all day long and it didn't change hardly at all, but like I said, for me, I think that's because it's such a light coverage that it didn't change at all, because it had already, I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but if it was fuller coverage, I think it's harder for a fuller coverage makeup to stay that way all day, whereas when you've already got a really light cover, it's a lot easier to keep that light coverage, because even if my makeup disappeared a little bit, that's what my skin would look like, so you wouldn't notice an awful difference, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So I hope that was useful for you if you have seen this, because it is in most Boots stores at the moment, kind of on the forefront, you know, at the front of the store, and they're quite highly advertising it, I think, in the store. I haven't seen it on TV or anything, but in case you were interested, that's what it's like. If you've got any other questions, then stick them in the comments, of course. And if I, you know, end up loving this, then it will be in my favourites probably in February, because I'm going to film my favourites today, even though there's still a week left of January. I'm going to film my January favourites today. But if I do end up loving this, it will be in my February favourites. But I don't often change my mind about foundations. The only one I can think about that I changed my mind was the Makeup Forever HD. And I think that was, I put it on, I wore it a couple of times, and I didn't think it was that special. But when I then put it on again and started to really notice it, like put it on and made it my goal to watch how it developed through the day and what it looked like, I thought it was beautiful. And I think the problem was that when I first used it, I just didn't really pay attention. I was away on holiday and just sort of doing other things. So because I hadn't taken the time to actually look at it, I'd kind of ignored it, if that makes sense. I'm talking a bit in riddles today, I know, but so what I'm saying is I think I'll probably have the same opinion in February, which would mean it wasn't a favourite, but we'll see. So if you see it in February, then it has passed the test. If not, it is one I will use. I'll definitely use this for work, because I'm not too bothered about the fact that it is a light coverage for work. You know, it kind of, I'm not just going to give it away because of that, because it's a nice feeling foundation. I think I've got so many foundations to get through. I did try and avoid this. I saw it, because I'm in Boots like 2 or 3 times a week, and I saw it twice and avoided it and was like, no, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it, I've got enough foundations. And then I decided that I needed to test out the Bourjois CC cream, which I'm going to do a video on as well. And I thought, right, okay, I'll get this one as well. I might as well try this one, and then I can compare it to that. So I've ended up with it anyway. Right, I'm going to stop rambling now and let you guys go. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again in my next video.